we're live. I hope, anyway. I was
soon find out.
that was too quiet for anybody to hear. Probably. Good evening.
You know, we could get one of those little graphics that like counts down from 10, so that we've always got it ready, and then we know when it goes live.
That's a good idea. I don't know how to time it with the stream though.
You have it as a frozen thing, and then you press play, and it starts like 2 minutes beforehand, and then you could see, and it doesn't. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
We are glad to see you all. Hopefully everybody can hear us. I've done a little bit of changing of the setup because we're going to be playing later in the session today.
We are, and you've also got me off center.
While I did ask, you went, I'm here.
You asked, where will you be sitting? I don't know. I move around.
Like, you're too fidgety. Hold on.
I'm not too fidgety. I don't want back pain.
Okay.
Hello, Roderick.
I'm a professional. There we go. You're perfectly framed now. I'm mature. I know. Good evening, everybody. Hi, Roderick. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. So, Michael, how are you today?
Oh, so I've been. I won't go into too many details, but I've been dealing with a lot of paperwork and stuff like that, and my brain is absolutely frazzled. It's a good job that I can model to kind of focus on other stuff. Yes, I do get looks when I. What do you do for a living, Mike? Well, I model. I teach people how to model. How does that go, Mike? Well, like this.
The 3/4 turn with a half step.
That sounds like a good way of falling over.
I know it's a pose that most models have to learn. I know this from a TED talk from a model.
Okay, Jan is one step ahead of me on this modeling career.
I've done my research.
But yes,
it's that kind of day, isn't it?
So yeah, I've been inundated with phone calls and stuff. But anyway, because Jan's been super busy recording, we actually missed a bit of a play session on Sunday. We usually play for an hour or two, sometimes longer, on a Sunday, catch up with everything outside of work. And so we thought this evening we would have a little bit of a break in the second half, play a bit of Human Fall Flat. There have been a couple of new levels as well. Seems to be our go-to thing.
Yes,
and what I've tried is to have both Jan and my screen playing, so you can see us frolicking around, both of us.
Now, there is a slight downside to that. Because I'm using a decent operating system, it doesn't stream the video properly to Michael.
Yes, Linux likes 5 frames per second. We've had this before when we've been demonstrating
what it is that's doing it. I have managed to make it slightly better. It's watchable, but it's weird. But before we do that, we should do some announcements.
Yes. So
let me start with my nose is itchy.
Okay. And I would like to announce the arrival of Vertex. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Vertex. First things first. The first module of Godot for Everyone, which is Rock, Paper, Toucan, is finished and ready for lifetime members. If you are a lifetime member, it's there now. Now, this is the first of several courses within the bundle, much like we're doing with the Blendiv Creators Suite.
You carry on, Jan. You carry on.
With the bubbles. Much more like I think I'm having a stroke. Much more like we're doing with the Blender Creative Suite. Rather than having one giant course, and you sort of fast forward the bits you want, we're releasing them as modules. When it goes live for people to purchase, which I believe will be in about a week, they'll be able to buy the entire bundle at a discount, or they can just buy the module that they want. This particular one is an introduction to Godot 4, introduction to coding concepts, introductions to things like variables and functions, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. But I do want your feedback. I specifically want to know, is the tone right? Now, if you're a lifetime member, you're probably not a beginner. But one of the hardest things when you're starting a new course is getting your voice as a teaching term, like finding your voice. And I want to get the right mix between sort of informal playfulness and actually teaching them decent coding habits and what a function is and stuff like that. I think I've got it, but I would value your feedback.
Yeah, I totally appreciate that. And before I say my bit, hello, Cormai and Munter. Good evening to you all. Morning,
hello, both of you.
afternoon.
I'm waving off to the side here, but Michael's got me in a
Yeah,
tight
we're,
thing, so.
we're not together this week, which is I really like the dynamic, but it's transport and everything else doesn't always work out. Um,
Good question from
yes.
Komai. How is the Godot Action RPG doing? Well,
So
this is split into three things. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say we talked lots about this last week.
Mhm.
So we'll go through an overview, and there are clips coming out of what we discussed last week as well throughout the week. So all being well, you guys can catch up on further detail because we were showing everything at the time. So the Godot Action RPG is split into multiple parts. It's not just one thing. There is one bundle that you can get that has all the multiple parts. So there's that. The music part is already out in terms of the music course. It's an LMMS course. It's already available on our site. So if you backed it, you should already have access to that. There's also the modular weapons course. It's already out as well. And there's many, many more to come. There's the assets course that's in production at the moment alongside the actual assets. So last week, it was only a couple of days after Godot 4 had its release candidate. So we went back, we spent a whole day testing and seeing what was possible in Godot 4. And we're at a point now where we're happy with importing models and it's not crashing horribly all the time. Although it did crash live on stream. Hey, there was that.
But that wasn't instability. That was the code has changed. Like the
Yes,
syntax has changed.
We tried to launch something and it didn't work because syntax changed, which is actually one of the reasons why we've waited until it's at this point. Because the last thing we want to do is have to redo whole swathes of course just because Godot 4 is not ready. And of course, it's going to be of no value to anybody if it's literally incorrect because they changed something. But release candidate means that this is what they're proposing to be the release candidate, and therefore it shouldn't have any major changes on it. It should just be bug fixes. Fixes.
While we're talking about that, the Godot courses for those are going to start production in about a week, I believe. And the reason for that is if we're going to be giving you guys assets and I start recording before we've released them, what you get in the course doesn't look as good. And we learned this with Godot Getaway.
Yeah.
So the first Godot course is going to be the modular procedural dungeon. That's not what I'm calling it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So Michael is finishing off a whole bunch of redone Godot 4 ready dungeon assets.
Yes.
They'll be the ones that come with the course. And then if you want, there's an expanded thing that you can buy, which depending on what kind of thing you backed on the Kickstarter, you will have access to or not. None of them will be mandatory. It's just extra walls and doors and props and things.
It's to flesh it out and fill and make everything less samey. So
right. So when is it out? Don't know. There's always a lot of changes and guesswork, and that's when it comes to deadlines in software and in education. The goal is get that course out by the end of March. That is a goal, not a cast iron deadline, because something could go wrong, right? Like it, or we may add twice as many lectures in it, which means you get twice as much content, but it takes longer to do.
Yeah.
We don't want to half-ass this. Want to use my full ass.
I've never understood that saying. You get my full butt.
If you're waiting to get all of the content, it's going to take a while to go through all of the stuff for Godot, especially when we start into things like behavior trees and animations, all the rest of it. Yeah. It is coming. If you want to get started with the procedural dungeon stuff, that is looking to be ready, hopefully by the end of March. I believe the assets course to make that stuff is geared around the same time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's that one. How could one become a lifetime member? Well, the easiest way is to go to our website and buy the lifetime access bundle, which I believe is for sale. It better be for sale.
I believe so. I'm just going to have a look myself. I think it's at the bottom of the courses page.
Awesome. I'm glad you're excited, Komai. We do have a slight delay between what you write and me seeing it.
Oh, actually, on the main page, if you scroll to the bottom, there's an infinity sign, and I believe that'll take you to the option to buy lifetime access.
We have been contacted by a very helpful person who pointed out, your website might need a redesign.
So, yes, and I'm talking to the guy at the moment over in Germany. I don't know
Hey,
what he's offering yet.
you,
He hasn't gotten back to me, but
you
hopefully.
are multitasking like a champion.
I love have a coffee.
But yeah,
Yes.
the lifetime gives you early access to all courses,
Yeah.
full access to every course we've made, full access to every course we will make in the future, all asset bundles, and basically anything we publish under the Canopy Games name is the
Yes.
idea. I want to be very careful I don't say something stupid and Michael goes, don't. But that we were
Yes.
talking about what happens if and when we finish Battle Tactics for Steam.
Yes.
If we do it on the Canopy Games, we kind of have to give it to the lifetime members. Like, here's your Steam key. Like we've
Yeah.
kind of contracted to do that. So if we make
Yep.
games,
We're
you get games.
quite happy with that. And it's somewhat expanded over the years as well, because obviously initially it was just courses. You know, you get access to all the courses that we do, because that's all that we did. But now there will be asset packs. There will be audio. So that's one thing that I've not mentioned. I didn't think I mentioned it last week. I might have done. But I'm nearing the end of production of music assets that we're going to use in the RPG. And if you bought the music assets, they'll be there. There's going to be, I'm going to call them albums more than anything. There's going to be 3 albums in total, and they're all going to be geared around the RPG in terms of their sort of style. So they'll be kind of medieval in style, but not always in the instrumentation. So you'll actually find the first one I'm doing more of the traditional things. So there's dum 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 dum, and then like lutes and some strings and all
How
that
did the
lot.
loots go, Michael?
I didn't do that deliberately. Twang, twitter, twang, twang, twang. How's that?
I think your loots need tuning.
Well, they didn't know about. No, I don't know. But the actual the actual instrumentation and everything aside, and my vocalization aside, I'm aiming to get that out for you guys so you can use it as well. That'll appear in the assets part of the website. Which Gormai is just asked there, will it be easy to find on the site in case some people don't belong to the course?
Gosh, I hope so. I hope it's very easy to find. Like we're going to try for that. That's the goal.
So
we want to make it as easy as possible for people to give us money.
Oh, totally right. But anyway, the way that
follow-up question.
Yep.
What he means is, or what they mean is, I actually don't know his gender. How will we be able to tell if it's for the action RPG? It'll be marked.
Yes.
It'll be clearly marked in the title.
Yep. Or at least the subtitle. Sometimes we change the name so it doesn't just. One of the problems is on multiple websites or readers, depending on screen size and everything, what we don't want is like an acronym at the beginning to cut off what the thing's about. So, but we'll make sure that everything is clearly labeled.
Before I did this course, I've written G4E, rock, paper, chicken.
But yeah, that sort of thing could be changed. And yes, it is important that you'll be able to navigate the sites. On the site front, this year I am planning to have another site overhaul. I haven't talked to Jan about this yet. Let's do it live on stream.
I knew this. This we talk about.
What? No, so the site has already had an overhaul, and it changed the layout quite drastically. But I think it was for the better, and we want to improve and put things. I've actually trialed dark mode on the website, but so we've got a hosting platform called Teachable, and they don't always respect the code you give them. So it will work independently, but when you put it through their site,
I've uploaded coding videos and just got feedback like.
But yeah, there are some quirks to being able to change the CSS and on all that jazz on Teachable. It doesn't always respect what you tell it, or even better, it will respect what you tell it across everything. And you're like, no, I didn't want to change everything, just this page. Right, where do I find it?
Things have changed since we could write web pages and CSS in a note card in the 90s. That's how I used to make web pages.
I mean, I've learned a lot through it. But I've been speaking to a couple of people about potentially developing the website, but ultimately it's one of those chicken and egg scenarios where the dinosaur comes first. And
I was going to say, we had this conversation last week.
I jumped to it.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg. Basic evolution in theory.
But it's difficult to know what you want unless you've been through the mill a couple of times yourself to work out what really the user experience. So one of the things I really want is dark mode. I I've got
Okay.
accustomed to everything becoming dark mode. I've got an add-on on my browsers to make things dark mode wherever possible. And our site is quite bright at the moment.
It is quite bright.
So
One of the things I really want is a private island, or possibly a chateau, or, and I'm just thinking about this now for the first time, a chateau on a private island.
nailed it. He's going to go super villain on us, I swear.
I mean, the haircut kind of did that. I've gone full Walter White. I've been trying to throw pizzas on the roof, but the neighbors are not happy. My aim isn't good enough.
Is that a reference to Breaking Bad? I've watched.
It is a reference
I
to Breaking
watched.
Bad.
I watched like half of the first season. For some reason, I
It's
stopped.
very good.
I was really enjoying it, and some reason I stopped. I've done this with games as well. Like halfway through something, it's something in my life, or just stop playing it for some
I mean, it's
reason.
not suitable for everybody. Like,
Oh
you
no,
know, there's some content warnings.
no
But
way.
It's good. It's one of the
Yeah.
best things I've seen.
So we'll make sure that, in fact, the RPG, because it's going to be such a focused area, is likely to have its own sub page on the site.
That's a good idea.
And
Very good.
therefore everything's grouped together. So if you want to learn everything to do with the Godot Action RPG, that'll all be in one place on the site. And then, of course, if you go to all courses, it'll be there as well. I'm very keen to make sure that things are clearly labeled, whether or not it's a bundle or a course or an asset pack, what it contains and what it doesn't contain, etc. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
I just let the lifetime members know in Discord that they have access to Rock Paper Toucan now. Because I forgot
Awesome.
to do that.
Definitely.